and foremost, I think that we have to get into the Aaron Rodgers topic because after the Monday show, we were talking about the hype for the game, the New York Jets versus the Buffalo Bills. It was a primetime game, incredible beginning, so hyped up. Aaron Rodgers' debut, his first time playing for another team. And as we all know, in the fourth play of his career as a New York Jet, he ends up tearing his Achilles, and he's now out for a season. Now, this has massive ramifications on countless aspects. In terms of the Jets organization, they need to figure out the quarterback situation. Are they going to have Zach Wilson continue to take the reins of this team and go forth? I know that was the plans all along in terms of him being the guy in a couple of years when Aaron Rodgers retires. But I don't think anybody was expecting him to be the guy this year. And by anybody, I don't think nobody wants that. So we have to figure out, who's going to be the backup? Are they going to bring in a guy just to be there to mentor him? Or are they going to get a guy in there that can start over him? We have to decide on that. In terms of the NFL as a whole, well, we're talking about a team that I thought was a top 10, top 5 team that could potentially win a Super Bowl this year. They're now no longer going to win a Super Bowl, most likely. Now, Robert Saleh talks about saying, okay, we can't just go eliminate them from the discussions because they still do have a great team. I mean, that defense is something spectacular. They do have the best defense in the NFL. And the offense has plenty of weapons as well, but the fact of the matter is if you do not have a star at quarterback, or at least a guy that's capable of playing at a decent level, you're going to struggle. So we have to figure that aspect out. So there's massive ramifications from this injury, but ultimately it's a horrible situation. It's unfortunate for Jets fans. It's unfortunate for the team. The stories in terms of just the reaction of guys, the way that just depleted a locker room, it's unfortunate for what occurred out there in New York. But what I do want to discuss now is who could potentially be the replacements now for this New York Jets team, because we have a spot now in this roster where I mentioned there has to be another guy that they figure out. We need to figure out who is going to come in and help step up in the New York Jets system that's going to take over the reins at the quarterback position. As of this point in time, sure, Zach Wilson is the guy. And I'm okay with that for now because he is your young guy and he's the only guy in your roster right now. And obviously, I'd take him over the backup situation they currently have. But here's my big thing. I'm going to start off with one guy first and foremost. And this is not going to make my top 3 rankings, but he's just going to be his name listed because how could I not list him? If it is possible indeed and in fact to go get Tom Brady and have him come out of retirement for the second time and finish the season up with them, okay, that's going to be the number one option. I personally do not think that's actually a realistic thing due to the fact that, well, he's retired. He seems to be enjoying life being retired, and there doesn't seem to be any rumors or interest in him to come back and play in the NFL again. So Tom Brady, I'll list him there for now. I do not think he's going to be the guy that comes back and plays, but he would be number one. But I'm going to put him above everyone else in like a mythical, potential dream scenario. He's number one. Okay, let's get to realistic things. I got 4 quarterbacks. This is my top 4 quarterbacks. Well, no, I'm going to give you guys 3, in fact, because I got 3 guys. This is my top 3 quarterbacks that I have to replace Aaron Rodgers. And I don't want to say replace because none of these guys are going to replace him. But these are my top 3 guys that I think the New York Jets should either trade for or sign via free agency to either be the backup or potentially compete for a starting spot in New York. All right, here we go. Number 3, I've got Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy is a guy that is a veteran guy. I think he'd be a great backup to mentor and help alongside Zach Wilson. He's the guy I'm going to put at number 3. At number 2, Jacoby Brissett. He was playing very swell last season, filling in for Deshaun Watson while he was suspended out there in Cleveland. I think Jacoby Brissett is a guy that's capable. Now, I still don't know if they're going to win a Super Bowl, but being a backup, he is the guy that could also come in and win some games for you, get you to about 500 in the Cleveland team last year. What could he do with this team in New York? I don't know. Wouldn't be too bad. But here's my number 1 option. And I haven't heard this too many times, but honestly, I would not mind trading for Jameis Winston when he's out there with New Orleans. He's not going to be the starter. He's a backup right now. Derek Carr is the starting quarterback in New York, or out there in New Orleans. So it would not be too bad of an idea to have Jameis Winston come out there. We all know he can throw the ball, sometimes to the opposing team, but Winston knows how to get points on the board. Now, I know he hasn't looked as sharp last season due to injuries and whatnot, but listen, the situation that you're going into right now in New York is a situation in which has a defense that's already been established. You do not have to worry about the defensive front. They're going to win games single-handedly by themselves because that defense is so elite. And then you have so many options and weapons around alongside him. This would be a fine fit for Jameis Winston. So that's my top 3. Another guy I want to say honorable mention, Carson Wentz. I do think that he would be a solid fit as well. I would say Carson Wentz is more so. Carson Wentz and Jameis Winston are the two guys I'd say are the two guys to go after if you're looking to truly replace Zach Wilson and get a new starter in there. But if you want a backup, I think Jacoby Brissett, Colt McCoy would be the two best options there. So that's what I think we're going to go with for the Aaron Rodgers situation and who could potentially back him up out there in New York.